Okay, in an attempt to be useful, I'm going to share what I would normally bring on a road ride as far as a repair kit to keep myself mobile, keep myself from having to get on the bus or call for a ride, just allow me to repair whatever's going on and continue. So the first thing is a pump. Always going to bring my trusty pump, so as long as I have calories in my body, I can put air in my tires. This one is fairly large, but I really appreciate the airflow. It's amazing when I'm on a group ride and someone has a puncture, how everyone is happy to use this. Even though it's kind of large to carry, it moves a lot of air. This fitment screws onto the valve so you don't have to hold it with your hand while you're pumping. Super convenient. It has a foot peg so you can stand it up, stand on it, and just work it with one hand, and it goes really fast. So as far as actually repairing or filling a tire with air, this one every time, and actually protect it. Unless it's in the summer, I built a pump condom just using old inner tube to keep the nasty weather out, because water and dirt can get in here and can also get past the seal here, and it makes it, I've never had one actually fail. They've always moved air, but it feels terrible. You can tell it's pumping water into your wheel sometimes, and it can destroy the O-ring. I've never had one fail out on the road, but I have had the O-ring eventually give up. So this is a little bit of extra protection that's super easy. I mean, maybe it looks ugly, but it's not like it adds any weight, and this keeps all the gunk out, so this will always work. So anyway, I always carry that enormous pump. It has its own bracket, which I actually like the one it comes with. This goes on the seat tube, just using the water bottle mounts, and keeps it out of the way. Maybe not everybody's cup of tea because it's not the prettiest, but it does the job amazing. On a shorter ride, like a commute or something like that, where I'm only taking one water bottle, this is the repair kit that will go in the other water bottle cage. I really like this case, even though I have broken them before. I wash it pretty frequently. I actually use chain lube to keep the zipper functional, so it's not perfect, but it sure is handy, and it fits everything I need. A tube. Even if you're running tubeless tires, always carry a tube, because shit happens. But definitely if you're not tubeless, if you have tubes in your wheels, you got to carry a spare one. Someday you're going to need it. So always carry at least one. And if I'm going on a longer ride, like that's, whatever it means to you, whatever a longer ride is, if you're leaving town, or, for me, it's probably something over 60 miles, where I'm going to be farther away and I just want to reduce my chances of being stuck somewhere, I'll carry a second tube just to reduce my chances of getting stuck. And you want to make sure that this is the right size, like it will fit in your tire, and especially the valve stem. Make sure the valve stem is the right length, because if you have a deep dish wheel and you have a tube that won't fit through your wheel, well, that's an embarrassing moment, isn't it? You're stuck. You can't fix your leak. So check that. Multi-tool. I really like this one because it's compact. This is just a little extra retaining strap because the magnetic closure doesn't work that well. That's okay, don't really care that much. This one comes with a chain tool, which is critical. I would definitely always carry a tool that has the chain breaker, because if your chain breaks, this is how you clean it up. This is how you take the damaged links off. Otherwise, it's pretty hard to accomplish that. You might need pliers, you might be beating it with a rock. The right tool for the job, turns out, can be pretty compact. And these days, it's hard to buy a tool that doesn't have all the right tools on it, but you want to make sure you have a tool for every bolt you need to turn on your bike. Again, it's pretty hard to buy a tool that doesn't come like that, but you want to make sure. So I really like that one. I carry a CO2, optional, because I have a pump. Never carry just a CO2 unless you're on like a supported road race or something where there's a car behind you, because someday this will fail you. It comes in two parts. It has the canister, which you can get in multiple sizes, and then it has the inflator, which there are lots of styles. I've just had this fail so many times, whether it's user error or it's too cold out or dirt gets in there, whatever it happens, you get one shot. This is enough to fill one road tire, maybe 1.5 if you're generous, and then you're done. That's it. That's all you get. So this is nice because if it's cold and wet and you just want to fill your tire really fast, or you're on a group ride and you don't want people to have to wait for you, this is the quick and dirty way to fill your tire. But never bring just this. Always bring the pump, because if this is the only thing you have, someday it will fail you. You will thank me someday that this is not all you're carrying. The rest of the repair kit, pretty skinny actually, but it gets the job done. If you're using tubeless, bacon strips, or something like it, this is going to help seal your punctures. If you're running tubes, leave this at home. You don't need this. Tire levers. There's a mythical wheel and tire combination out there somewhere that can be removed and reinstalled by hand. I've never met it. I've never owned a bike that that has that. I've always needed a tire lever. Sometimes I've needed two. And it is amazing that it's, you know, cold and wet and your hands are half numb and you can't get the tire on because it's got dirt on it. Suddenly you need two tire levers. Well, you better have them, because there's not really any substitutes out in nature. You're not going to use this twig or a rock. Basic tire lever. This one is really cool, a little bit more expensive, but it's versatile. First of all, it's my second tire lever, but then it's also a chain tool. Not the same as the one that's on my multi-tool. This one is to put the chain back together. So it uses these quick links to put the chain back together. And it can also separate them. If you need to take your chain off for some reason, instead of a damaged link like you would use this one for, it's at a quick link. This makes it really easy. You can do it without it, but this makes it really easy, and it carries them. On a longer ride, I might carry more of these because they're tiny and they are, you know, they don't weigh anything. It takes two of these to make one link. So this is only two links, and sometimes you need that just to put a broken chain back together. And then you could drop one and lose it. You could bend one by accident. It's really nice to have extras. And then this is a valve core tool. If you accidentally remove the valve core from either your tube or your tubeless wheel valve stem, it's pretty hard to get it back in without the right tool. So that's super cool that that's included. I also carry the backup plan. Even though I run tubeless, I carry these. The boot, especially if you have tubes, the boot is to keep the tube in the tire. If you get a large enough slash in your tire, the tube can push out, and any little rock or amount of pressure can puncture your tube again. So you have to have something to stop it. You can use a dollar bill or a food wrapper, but this takes up no space. It weighs nothing, and it has a little bit of adhesive when you peel it off, so it's really easy to use. So I carry this. Patches. This lets you get away with repairing your tube. So if you've already replaced, you know, your tube because you got a puncture, and then you get another one, these will let you keep going. You can hopefully patch whatever puncture in the tube and reinflate it. So these are kind of your get out of jail free cards, and you can carry a more compact version, but I like these. They work pretty well. And the only things I would carry on a longer ride, like I mentioned, would be a second tube and also a derailleur hanger. I don't have one for this bike, or I'd show you, but it's the little piece that attaches your rear derailleur to the bike. It's made to be the weakest link in the system. So if something goes wrong, it's the piece that's going to break. And if it does break, you're kind of stuck without it. It's pretty hard to get the bike moving again without one, so carry one. It's worth it. If I'm on a ride where I'm going to use that second water bottle, all of this stuff is going to go in a seat bag like this. This one actually won't, it's not big enough to hold a second tube, but it's just an example of what one would look like. And that's it. Hope that helps.